So Stuart, you showed us a very interesting graph just a while ago about how increasing migration inflows in different countries are associated. I don't know if they lead to, but they're associated to less public spending. So do you have any insights on why is this?
Well, I mean, there's a whole literature on that. I'm not really sure that we completely understand it, that is why there is that link quite yet. I mean, it does tend to be the case that countries that have experienced larger increases in migrant stock have experienced smaller increases in social spending. That seems to be kind of empirically true, at least across OECD countries. But now the literature is trying to grapple with how exactly that works, right? Try to deal with the kind of micro level dynamics. At the individual level, what is it that produces that shift? And part of the story could be political. I suppose that's not at the individual level. Some of that could be about the kind of partisanship that's connected with changing diversity. But some of it's about individual level dynamics. We've been talking about kind of explicit racism or implicit racism and other related attitudes, interpersonal trust, national identity, and the way strong national identities or weak national identities are linked to immigrant attitudes. Attitudes of immigrants.
I think that's quite intriguing. The other thing that we did at the training is we took some online surveys about our own attitudes, and I thought that was really, really fascinating. Do you think these surveys can help people, including people who are taking this kind of training, to become more aware of their own views?
Well, I mean, yeah. So we took this implicit attitudes test to reveal kind of biases. Basically, this was a white-black IAT test. I think it's useful. I think it helps illustrate the kinds of biases that are kind of built in from socialization. I don't think that demonstrating racial bias in an implicit attitude survey means that you're racist,
yes,
or kind of overtly racist on a daily basis, but it does help to make clearer the kinds of things that we get taught from a very young age.
Yeah, I think actually the funny thing is that sometimes you just try to beat the surface assumptions and do the opposite just to avoid being, related to a racist person. But I think it's useful both for academics and professionals, because at least it generates some thought and some interaction, some dialogue, as it did a while ago in the training.
Well, also what we're trying to do, we're asking kind of empirical questions here, right? And so there's a whole empirical literature that tries to capture these different ideas, that tries to capture prejudice, tries to capture attitudes of immigrants, and so on and so on. I think it's useful, independent of what it might tell you about yourself, I think it's useful to just see the measures firsthand and get a sense for how this stuff is being measured, and try to think about better ways to measure it, what different measures are doing, and that then tells you what literature you believe and what literature you want to be critical of, and so on.
Or at least what you want to find out, what you want to study, so we have a lot of work ahead.
That's true.